Hey, step away from that bag now. David Cole turned slowly, both hands raised. The terminal at Dallas-Fort Worth was a blur of motion, but for him, everything snapped into a single, sharp focus. It felt like a stage light had just found him. Two white officers advanced, their expressions already set in a mask of suspicion. "I'm Sergeant David Cole, just arrived from my tour," he stated, his voice even. Officer Miller chuckled, a harsh, dismissive sound. "Right. And I suppose it's common for folks to just wear costumes they find." "I earned this uniform," David said, his tone unwavering. "Sure you did. Before we continue, tell us where in the world you are watching from. Drop it in the comments below. And if you enjoy this story, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more powerful content like this." Around them, travelers began to slow their pace. Their curiosity peaked. A little boy pointed. A woman instinctively pulled her luggage closer. David held his composure, but a fire of indignation was kindling inside him. He had been welcomed home from other tours with handshakes and gratitude. This time, he was met with contempt. "I have my military identification. You're welcome to verify it." "Not necessary," Miller retorted. "You fit the description." "A description of what?" David asked, his voice dangerously quiet. "A soldier or just a black man in uniform?" Without another word, Miller ripped the duffel bag from David's shoulder. His belongings exploded across the polished floor. Uniforms, letters, and his medals scattered like fallen leaves. A worn photograph of his wife landed by a stranger's foot. Officer Shaw smirked. "Looks like fake junk, just like the uniform." David's hands tightened into fists at his sides, but he kept his voice controlled. "You are making a profound mistake," he said through gritted teeth. The officers paid him no mind. One cell phone camera came up, then a second, then a third. A child's clear voice sliced through the tension. "Daddy, why are they being mean to that hero?" The atmosphere shifted. Miller shoved David hard against a concrete pillar. "You are under arrest." A collective gasp rippled through the onlookers. David's voice finally cracked, not from fear, but from a deep, weary sorrow. "Is this the welcome America gives its soldiers?" The crowd was a statue of silent disbelief. Then a voice boomed with absolute authority, a voice that could part seas. "Let him go. Now." The crowd parted as a tall, powerfully built black man in full officer regalia strode forward, command in his every step. His badge was a star of authority. "Captain Marcus Thorne." "That's a direct order," he said, his face a mask of cold fury. Shaw froze. Miller went rigid. "We were just following procedure, sir." Captain Thorne's voice was like ice. "You were following your own prejudice." David's arms were released, and while the physical pressure was gone, the weight of the humiliation remained. Thorne's gaze softened as he turned to him. "Are you all right, Sergeant?" "No, sir," David replied honestly. "Just tired. Tired of this story repeating itself." The cameras were still recording. A woman whispered, "Is he somebody famous?" Another traveler answered, "He's a soldier." That should have been all that mattered. Thorne locked eyes with the two officers. "You two, with me?" Now, the crowd didn't erupt in cheers. There was no applause, just a heavy, profound silence that felt more like justice than any noise ever could. Inside the airport security headquarters, the air was thick with unspoken accusations. David stood by the wall, arms crossed, observing as Captain Thorne and Chief Henderson confronted the two officers, who now looked small and pale. "You assaulted a decorated soldier in a public space?" Henderson said, his voice dangerously low. On camera, without even the decency to check his identification, Miller stammered, "We thought he looked like a black man in uniform." Shaw remained silent. "You falsified your initial report, used excessive force, and you have shamed this entire department," Henderson continued. David's voice cut in, quiet but carrying immense weight. "They called me a boy." Henderson's expression hardened into granite. "Effective immediately. You are both suspended, pending a full internal investigation." As the officers were led away, their faces ashen, David stepped forward. "One more thing," he said, The next time you see a black man in a uniform, any uniform, try to show the respect you demand for yourselves. The door clicked shut. Thorne let out a long breath. Henderson turned to David. We owe you a hell of a lot more than a formal report. I'm not looking for an apology, David said. I want this to stop for every kid out there in that terminal who looks like me and had to watch that. He gathered his things, carefully placing the photo of his wife back in his wallet, and walked toward the exit. A custodian pushing a cart met his eyes and gave a slow, respectful nod. A ticket agent stood at a gate and raised her hand in a silent salute. No fanfare, no speeches, but something in the air had undeniably changed. Outside, the sun broke through the overcast sky. A small, genuine smile touched David's lips for the first time that day. They didn't break me, he whispered to the open air. They finally saw me. Thank you for reading. David Cole didn't serve his country for praise. He served it for honor. And his story is a powerful reminder that a person's dignity should never be contingent on the color of their skin or the uniform they wear. Injustice thrives when good people stay silent. But courage has a voice that calls it out for the entire world to hear. If this story resonated with you, leave a comment below and subscribe for more true stories that inspire us to be better and to champion those who refuse to be silent.